Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine stepping into a room filled only with the essentials. No clutter, no distractions, just space to breathe. How does that make you feel? Lighter, free, maybe even a little uneasy. In a world where we're constantly told that more is better, the idea of having less can feel unsettling. But in Japan, this philosophy is woven into the fabric of daily life, teaching that true fulfillment isn't found in what we accumulate, but in what we intentionally choose to keep. Think about it. How often do you buy things you don't need? How many times have you felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of stuff in your home, in your digital space, even in your mind? The modern world thrives on consumption, yet the more we have, the less satisfied we seem to be. Japan, however, has long embraced a different approach. Rooted in centuries-old traditions like Zen Buddhism, Wabi-Sabi, and the art of mindful living, Japanese minimalism offers a way out of the endless cycle of excess. In this video, you'll discover 10 powerful lessons from Japanese minimalism, practical, transformative insights that go beyond just decluttering your space. These principles will help you simplify your surroundings, clear your mind, and shift your perspective on what truly matters. And by the end, you might just see your life through an entirely new lens. But here's the thing. There's one lesson, the final one, that almost no one talks about. Yet it might be the most profound of all. Stay with me until the end, because this is something that could change everything. Japanese minimalism isn't just about having fewer things, it's about creating space for what truly matters. To understand why this philosophy is so powerful, we need to look at where it all began. Unlike the Western concept of minimalism, which often focuses on decluttering and aesthetic simplicity, Japanese minimalism is deeply rooted in cultural traditions that have shaped the way people live for centuries. One of the most influential philosophies behind Japanese minimalism is Zen Buddhism, which emphasizes mindfulness, impermanence, and detachment from material possessions. The idea is simple. The less we cling to, the more peace we find. This is reflected in traditional Japanese homes, open spaces, natural materials, and an intentional absence of excess. Everything has a purpose, and what remains is a reflection of harmony and balance. Another key influence is Wabi-Sabi, the appreciation of imperfection and impermanence. In Japan, beauty is found in the cracks of an old ceramic bowl, in the worn edges of a wooden table, in the fleeting nature of cherry blossoms. This mindset shifts the way we see our surroundings. Rather than striving for perfection, we learn to embrace what is simple, imperfect, and natural. But how does this apply to you? In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with advertisements, notifications, and the pressure to keep up. Our homes fill up with things we don't use, our schedules become overloaded, and our minds feel cluttered. Minimalism offers an escape, a chance to strip away the excess and rediscover what's truly important. The beauty of Japanese minimalism is that it's not about deprivation, it's about intention. It's not about throwing everything away, but about making space for what brings real value to your life. And as we move forward, you'll see exactly how these 10 lessons can help you achieve that. Because once you start seeing the world through this lens, everything changes. Lesson 1, the power of Ma, intentional space. Imagine walking into a traditional Japanese tea room. The space is open, uncluttered, and yet it feels full of calm, full of meaning. This is the essence of Ma, the intentional use of empty space. In the West, empty space often feels incomplete, like something is missing. But in Japan, space is just as important as objects. It allows energy to flow, the mind to settle, and focus to sharpen. A practical way to apply this is by creating breathing room in your home. Leave an empty corner, clear off a table, or allow space between objects. You'll quickly notice that less isn't emptiness, it's freedom. And once you embrace Ma, you'll never look at space the same way again. Lesson 2. Wabi-Sabi, embracing imperfection. Close your eyes and picture an old, cracked ceramic bowl. In Japan, this bowl is not discarded, it's celebrated. The cracks are filled with gold in an art form called kintsugi, turning flaws into beauty. This is Wabi-Sabi, the philosophy of appreciating imperfection. Instead of chasing a flawless life, Japanese minimalism teaches us to find peace in the unfinished, the aged, the imperfect. Think about your own space. Do you hold on to things because they are perfect or because they hold meaning? Let go of the pressure to always upgrade. Love what you have, even with its flaws. Perfection is an illusion, but beauty in imperfection, that's real, and it's everywhere, if you know how to see it. Lesson 3. Kanso, functional simplicity. Does your home feel peaceful or overwhelming? Kanso, a key principle of Japanese minimalism, is all about functional simplicity, removing excess to focus on what is truly useful. In a traditional Japanese home, you won't find excessive decorations or clutter. Every item serves a purpose, blending beauty with function. It's not about stripping life down to nothing, but about creating harmony through simplicity. Try this. Walk into any room and remove one thing that serves no real purpose. Notice how the space breathes differently? Minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about removing distractions so the important things can shine. And when your surroundings are clear, so is your mind. Lesson 4. Shibui, the art of understated elegance. Have you ever admired something that was beautiful in a quiet way? Not flashy, not loud, just subtly perfect. That's shibui, a Japanese concept that values understated elegance. Instead of chasing trends or filling our lives with excess, shibui teaches us to appreciate simplicity with depth. Think of a worn leather notebook, a well-crafted wooden spoon, or a perfectly brewed cup of tea. These are simple, yet profound. To embrace shibui, focus on quality over quantity. Invest in things that last, that get better with time, that bring quiet joy. Because true beauty doesn't need to shout. It simply is. Lesson 5. Ichigo Ichi, the beauty of the present moment. Imagine sitting in a quiet cafe, sipping tea with a close friend. You laugh, you talk, and for a moment, time stands still. This is Ichigo Ichi, the idea that every moment is unique and will never happen again. Japanese minimalism isn't just about things, it's about how we experience life. In a fast-paced world, we rush from one thing to the next, rarely stopping to truly be present. Try this. Next time you have a meal, put your phone away. Savor each bite. Feel the textures, taste the flavors, be there. Because once the moment is gone, it never returns. And that's exactly what makes it precious. Lesson 6. Danshari, conscious letting go. Have you ever opened your closet and felt weighed down by the sheer amount of stuff? That's where Danshari comes in, the Japanese method of conscious decluttering. Danshari is more than tidying up. It's about questioning, do I need this? Does this serve me? If not, let it go. Japanese homes aren't minimalist by accident. They reflect intentional choices. Try this. Pick one drawer, take everything out, hold each item and ask, would I miss this if it were gone? If not, release it. Decluttering isn't just about physical space, it's about mental clarity. And the less you carry, the lighter you feel. Lesson 7. Siri and Saiten, the power of order. If you've ever heard of the Japanese 5S system, you know that Seiri, sorting, and Seitan, organizing, are the foundation of a peaceful space. The goal? A place for everything, and everything in its place. In Japan, organization isn't just about neatness, it's about efficiency and flow. A clutter-free space leads to a clutter-free mind. A simple habit to start? The one-touch rule. When you pick something up, put it back in its place immediately. No piles, no temporary spots, just instant organization. When your space is in order, your life follows, and peace, that becomes effortless. Lesson 8, Kaizen, continuous improvement. What if you could improve your life by just 1% every day? That's Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of small, continuous improvements. Instead of overwhelming changes, Kaizen teaches us to take tiny, meaningful steps toward a better life. Clean one shelf, donate one item, take one mindful breath, small but powerful. Growth isn't about huge leaps, it's about small, steady steps. And over time, those steps lead to transformation. So today, just choose one small thing to improve, and then tomorrow, do it again. Lesson 9, Shinrin-Yoku, the healing power of nature. In Japan, there's a practice called Shinrin-Yoku, forest bathing. It's not about exercise, it's about simply being in nature. Studies show that spending time in green spaces lowers stress, boosts immunity, and increases clarity. Minimalism isn't just about our homes, it's about what we consume mentally. And nature? It clears the mind better than any digital detox. So, step outside. Breathe, listen to the wind, feel the earth, reconnect. Because sometimes, the best way to simplify life is to step away from the noise and return to what's real. Lesson 10, Yumatanashi, Minimalism in Hospitality. Have you ever entered a space where you immediately felt welcome? That's omotenashi, the Japanese philosophy of selfless hospitality. In Japan, minimalism isn't just about personal spaces, it extends to how we treat others. A clean, peaceful home isn't just for you. It creates an atmosphere where people feel at ease. Hospitality isn't about extravagance, it's about thoughtfulness. A simple cup of tea, a comfortable seat, an uncluttered space that invites warmth. Want to embrace this? Start by simplifying your living area. Not for show, but to make it a place where peace is shared. Because true minimalism isn't just about things. It's about how we make others feel. Think back to everything we've covered. These 10 lessons from Japanese minimalism are not just about decluttering your home. They are about redefining the way you live. By embracing Ma, you create space for clarity. Through Wabi-Sabi, you stop chasing perfection. With Danshari, you learn to let go. Each of these principles is a small shift that, together, leads to a profound transformation. But now, I want to ask you something. Which of these lessons spoke to you the most? Maybe it was Ichigo Ichi, the idea that every moment is unique and fleeting. Or perhaps Kaizen, the philosophy of small daily improvements. Take a second to reflect. What's one thing in your life that feels cluttered? Not just physically, but mentally or emotionally? And more importantly, what's one small step you can take today to change that? Before and after, imagine your life before applying these lessons. The stress of too much stuff, too much noise, too much pressure. Now picture your life after, a space that feels calm, a mind that feels light, a life that feels intentional. The shift isn't instant, but it's real, and it's in your hands. Minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about freedom. Freedom from the excess that weighs us down. Freedom to focus on what actually matters, because in the end, the things we own should never own us. So what will you choose? So here we are, 10 lessons, 10 ways to simplify, and one question left to answer. What now? Minimalism isn't a finish line, it's a mindset. It's a way of choosing every single day to clear the excess and make space for what truly matters. Maybe for you, that starts with decluttering a room. Maybe it's letting go of the need for perfection, or maybe it's something deeper, learning to be present in each moment, appreciating the beauty of simplicity, and focusing on what brings real joy. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 10 lessons resonated the most? Was it the power of Ma, the quiet elegance of Shibue, or the healing nature of Shinrin-Yoku? Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. And if you're ready to take the next step, check out my other videos on mindful living, Japanese philosophy, and creating a more intentional life. At the end of the day, minimalism isn't about having less. It's about making room for more peace, more presence, more life. So go ahead, take that first step. Your simpler, freer life starts now.